This just in. Are you a victim of a friend getting the game Stardew Valley and they're telling you all about their exciting exploits and all the quests that they're going on? Not to mention all the juicy gossip that they're getting from the NPCs, all the exciting relationships that they're building up in the game. And then you decide, oh, I'm gonna buy that game. They make it sound really, really fun and exciting. What could possibly go wrong? Just to find out that you have no clue what you're doing, that you don't really know what's going on, everything that they described isn't what's happening right now, and you're wasting time and you're getting really stressed out and overwhelmed. Well, this broadcast is for you. Over to you, Sue. Thank you, Sue. Welcome. So today we are going to be sectioning this broadcast into two different sections. First will be the short-term tasks, and then we will go into the long-term tasks. The short-term tasks will be going over all the initial basics that you're going to need for just starting your farm and just starting the game, and a few details that might be a little confusing at first, and you may not pick it up at the beginning, and it'll just really help to know ahead of time. Then there's the long-term tasks, which will come in handy for future seasons in the game or future tasks or quests that it would be helpful to prepare for it early on, but it's not going to cause any harm if you don't know about them yet. So, to make things easier, and for those who want to get things done quickly, we're going to start off with the short-term tasks. Okay, to start off with our short-term tasks, we're going to go over the tools. You start off with all of your tools for free from the get-go. You don't have to buy anything. Now, you've got the axe for chopping wood, pickaxe for breaking stones, scythe, which is to cut grass, but also certain crops you can harvest through using the scythe, and it will tell you when to do that. Next is a hoe for digging and tilling soil, but also if you see little worms wiggling out of the ground, you use your hoe on that spot to get crops, seeds, or even artifacts. So keep an eye out for those. And then the watering can, which obviously is for watering your crops. And one thing to note, because I didn't realize it until accident, when you upgrade the watering can, you can hold whatever button you use for like using your tools, and it will water 3 plots at once instead of 1 at a time. So it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of energy. Next, we have your fishing rod. Now, you will get a bamboo fishing rod from Willie when he comes back, which is a few days into your playthrough. Now, you can stick to that fishing rod until you're more comfortable fishing, but I highly recommend, whenever you can afford it, to buy a better fishing rod, and with a higher grade fishing rod, you can also put bait in it to make it easier for you to get fish. And the higher grade of fishing rod you have, the better chances of getting higher grade fish. And then I don't have it in this save file, but you will eventually get a sword for free. Again, you do not have to buy this. Do not waste your money. You will get a sword for free from the Adventurers Guild whenever the mines open up, which I will show you in a little bit. And from there, when you start mining, at certain levels you will be able to find tools for free and upgrade from there. Again, you do not have to buy more weapons. They will eventually come up whenever you get to certain levels. Make sure to check the TV whenever you're about to start your day, and check the weather report, and they'll tell you what the weather is for the next day. So if you need to do something and you can't waste time watering your crops, you'll learn if the next day is going to be raining or storming, which means you don't have to worry about watering your crops. And then the fortune teller will just let you know if the spirits are feeling nice, angry, or neutral. And this will determine whether or not your chances of anything that are up to chance, if they're going to go well. So if you're going to be going fishing and the spirits are pleased today, you might have a better chance of catching higher grade fish. This is from my friend. Check your mailbox. I don't care if you're worried about what it says. Check the mail, because you will be getting quest items, you'll be getting free stuff, and sometimes you'll be getting money. So check the dang mailbox, please. And another thing I highly recommend is just having 1 or 2 chests to build so that you can save items until you're able to afford getting an inventory upgrade. And another thing, wherever you have this little pot on some planks, always water it. It's mostly just to make your cat happy. And I'm not sure, there she is. And make sure to pet them and make them happy. So you see this little thing of worms here? You're gonna take the hoe and dig it up. So next we're gonna go to the blacksmith. So you're gonna meet up with Clint and you can shop and buy ore. Or you upgrade tools by bringing in money, of course, and the specific required ore, or copper bar in this case. And you kind of just upgrade from here. Every time you get an upgrade, the next time you come into the shop, it'll have the next upgrade. And the deal is, once you leave a tool here to be upgraded, he's going to have to work on it for 2 days. So plan accordingly what you're going to be doing while your tools are essentially unavailable to you. Especially for the watering can. And that's where the weather channel comes in handy. If it's going to rain the next day, and then 100% go and get your watering can upgraded after you water all of your crops, because then you don't risk killing all of your crops. Another thing is, if you have a geode, you can bring it to Clint and he will break it open for you, which can either have crystals, it can have ore, it might have other items, but that's essentially what you're gonna get. Okay, that's it for tools. Next we're going into how you can buy items and how you can sell items, and where you can get things for free. Starting with, see these trash cans? Dig in them, because sometimes you will find either trash, which you can save for later, or you'll find random items such as food or maybe even tools. You have to make sure that no one sees you when you do it, because they're going to think it's really gross. The most obvious place that you can buy and sell items is Pierre's. Now here, this is where you're going to get all of your crops, and if you have crops in your inventory, you get to sell them to Pierre. And you can get other ingredients here for when you eventually upgrade your house to a kitchen. Now, it outlines it right here, but I just want to make sure you know, because if you're not paying attention, it's easy to miss. Each of these crops will tell you what season to be planted in and how many days it will take for it to essentially come to fruition. Some of them only take like 5 days, some 4, but there are very few crops where it's going to take essentially the entire season. So each season is 28 days exactly, every single one of them. And every crop, as soon as that 28th day is over, any crops you have for that season are going to wither immediately. There's no saving them. So you have to be very careful with when you plant your crops and how much time it's going to take for them to essentially come to fruition. And Pierre's is a good place to go if you just need immediate money. But the bin that's right by your house is where you can sell pretty much anything you don't want, you just drop it in there and you'll get money for it the next day. But if you need money immediately, Pierre's is a good place to go. And this is where you can get that increase in your inventory. You have to spend a lot of money on it, but you get an extra 24 slots, so that'll be a lot of help later on. Another thing about Pierre's is there will be this big calendar here. Pay attention to it. You can buy one to have in your house, but it's expensive, so just go to Pierre's. And it will show you what day you're on, what special events there are going to be, and birthdays, which are going to be very important if you're trying to increase a friendship with somebody or even marry someone. Because if you give them a gift or a special gift on their birthday, it'll give you essentially extra brownie points. And it'll allow you to prepare for certain festivals and special events. Like the Egg Festival, I recommend just looking that up because you have to essentially do an egg hunt and you get a prize, and it's kind of hard winning it on your first try. Also, for certain special events, there will be special sales going on, and you can get certain items that you will not be able to buy at any other point in time or location. So you have to pay a lot of attention and, if possible, clean out your immediate inventory as much as possible so you have room to buy stuff. And other places you can purchase things is Marnie's Ranch, which when you hover over these buildings on the map, it'll tell you when they are open. Pay attention to that because you don't want to waste your day planning to buy something or sell something when the place is going to be closed. So Marnie's is right below your immediate farm, and that's where you're going to go for all of your animal and all of your animal needs. So the fish shop is another place you can sell items, but only fishing related items. So that's where you can go if you want to upgrade your fishing pole, buy lures, or if you want to sell some fish and get immediate money. This is the place to go. And then the carpenter shop, that's where Robin is, and she will be in charge of all the upgrades of your farm. So she'll be building the silo, she'll be building the chicken coop, she'll be building the farmhouse, and she'll be building the extensions to your farm. And it'll cost you gold and whatever supplies she needs. So like 300 wood and like 100 stone, etc. So you really need to double check what you're wanting to upgrade to and what you need to save for those upgrades. Another place you want to pay attention to is the museum and library. When you're digging around or when you're hacking at the worms or when you're mining, you will find artifacts, and they'll be labeled as such, so you won't have to be paying too much attention to where they are. But when you find these, they're going to tell you to take them to Gunther, who is in charge of the museum and library. Now, you take items there, and he'll take them as a donation for the library. But if you get multiples of those items, you can just sell them anywhere, and they will give you a lot of money. And the more items you donate to the library, the more prizes you're going to get in return. And while we're here in the menu, so these are the different activities you do throughout the game. So there's farming, obviously, because you live on a farm. There's mining, which we will go to the mine in a little bit. Foraging, which is essentially you find random plants and flowers and vegetables just anywhere. You just find them on the ground, you pick it up, it doesn't matter. They just show up naturally. Sometimes you can grow them yourself, but that's more of a random chance of finding mixed seeds. But these are, again, just like your crops, seasonal, so you'll only get certain foraging items during certain seasons. So it's good to collect as many as you can whenever you find them, either as gifts or just for you to have on hand to eat if you're low on energy. And then you have fishing and combat. Combat is going to come into play when you're in the mines, because that's when you're going to be fighting bugs or monsters, depending on what level you get. And don't worry, it's not that scary. It sounds scary, but it's not, I promise. You just smack a few bugs around and you're fine. And now each of these levels will increase the more you do something. So if you're constantly fishing, your skill will increase, and then you will get certain skill buffs, or you'll learn new recipes, which will help you later on. Before we move on, we're going to get into the rating system of essentially your crops, foraging items, and fishing items. So as you can see, these are labeled as foraging items. You can eat them, but they won't do much. They're mostly just for selling and for gifting. Like for this one, like this is a daffodil. Some of the bachelorettes and some characters like Evelyn, the old lady in town, they will like this as a gift and they'll be really happy. Now, there's this regular daffodil, then here's a daffodil with a silver star. The rating system goes regular, silver, gold, and then if you work really hard for it, and in certain cases, if the spirits are very pleased, you'll get a purple star item. Now that could go for crops, foraging items, fish, anything really. And the better the star rating, the more money you will get for that item, because it essentially is showing how good of a quality that item is. And I will put a link in the description below for a little wiki guide for all of the crops. Oh, and something that helps me out later on is as long as you water your crops once a day, they're fine. It doesn't matter what time of day you water them, just as long as it happens. And another thing about your crop care, if you want to remove a crop, like it's about to expire or you just want to get rid of it, you take your pickaxe. And if you make a spot with your hoe that you don't like, take your pickaxe and it's gone. Pierre also sells items for making your soil retain water for longer so you don't have to water every day, or fertilizer to make whatever you're planting grow faster. So that will help you save time, but also that's going to cost you extra money. Okay, I'm going to show a clip of my other save file, but essentially when you have farm animals, you have to take care of them. Just like the cat that I pet earlier, the more you pet your animals and make sure that they're well fed and that they're cared after, the higher quality their items are going to be. So like the chickens, if you pet them and give them enough attention and make sure they're fed properly, they will give you large eggs and possibly large eggs with higher star ratings. And same for the cows. And I think eventually you get ducks and goats, I believe. I'm not that far yet. But just love on your animals and they will give you high quality items. And you also need some of their items not just for selling but also for recipes if you want to make food so that your energy gets replenished faster. And I highly recommend that you buy a silo first or whenever you can, so that whenever you cut down fiber or cut down grass, that stuff immediately becomes hay for the animals, so you don't have to buy it from Marnie or anything. Yeah, so your animals can eat the grass on the farm, so you can let them be free range if you want, or if you just don't feel like building up a fence around their coop or around that farm building. And of course, yeah, you go to Robin for all of those upgrades, and she will take a few days to build them, so she'll be just taking up space on your farm for a couple days. It's not going to cause you any issues, really. She's just going to be there building. One more building we're going to go check out, because my friend asked me about this. We're going to go head to the community center. So we'll meet you guys at the community center. We are here live at the community center, and once this opens up, you're going to be introduced to these little guys. They are called Junimo. No, they are not rats. They're not rats. And I will show a little clip in a moment, but when you are first introduced to this community center, you will find this little thing here, and you won't be able to read it. Don't worry about it. A wizard is going to come and help you, and you're going to partake in the forest. Whatever that means. And then you'll be able to see these bundles. So once this entire bundle page is finished, you get to repair a big bridge that's shown on the map. But these individual bundles, once you finish them, you will get a huge packet of seeds of just a variety of crops for that season, which is a huge help, and you get a lot of like crops towards the end of it, and it's just really nice. It's a huge buffer. And it's not just for crops and such, you also have other sections. Like this is the pantry where you have these different bundles, like high quality crops bundle, summer crops bundle, where it's just a bunch of different items. So you do want to save some of your items instead of selling them. My go-to is if you have multiple of an item, maybe sell 5 and keep the rest, or keep 5 and sell the rest, depending on how much you have. It'll kind of simplify things. So they have different bundles for different sections. So there's one for the fish, and then there's going to be more bundles in this area. But you don't have to worry about that for now. And the Wizard's Tower, you'll learn about it later, but just so you have a good idea of where it is, you're going to go to Marnie's Ranch and then just go past the pond, and the Wizard's Tower will be right there. And don't worry, he'll summon you. You'll know when it's time. Now, the last piece, which, please, if you don't pay attention to anything else in this video, pay attention to this. Now, you can see how you have an energy bar at the very bottom. Pay attention to it. Any action you do with your tools, it will cost you energy. Now, the only time this doesn't apply is when it is 2 a.m. It doesn't matter where you are or how much energy you have. Once it hits 2 a.m., your character is going to pass out and you're going to get robbed. So go to bed on time. As soon as it hits 1 a.m., you probably should make your way home. And later in game, you'll be able to dig up totems, which we will show a little clip of those right here. Totems are these magical items which will just teleport you wherever, which will save you a lot of time. But it'll take a while before you find them, and eventually you get to craft them. But they are expensive. They are a lot of work. So until then, pay attention to your time, please, and do not waste your days losing energy and then, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm out of energy. Guess I'll go to bed. No, you are wasting valuable time because you only have 28 days a season and you get 13 minutes of real day play. So we're gonna go into how you can replenish your energy and not waste your time. Got it? Good. Now, the easiest one is you can replenish your energy by eating food or eating crops you have, and sometimes there will be items that you forage that will give you energy, but there are also items that can steal your energy, like this. The sap, do not eat it under any circumstances. It's just going to take away your energy. Do not eat it. But it is used as an ingredient for making certain items. So let's see. The more you procure items and ingredients, you will learn recipes and they will all show up here. And early on, you're going to learn how to make a field snack, which will replenish 45 of your energy, and you just need an acorn, maple seed, and pine cone. So when you're chopping down trees, keep an eye out for those little seeds, okay? Good. Every single item provides different energy and health benefits. You don't need to worry about the health at this point in time, so don't worry about it. Okay. See that question mark? That's just because I haven't unlocked it yet, but eventually that area is going to be unlocked, and there is a spa, which we will show a clip of right now. And in this spa, it costs you literally nothing. It just takes some time to get there. So when you go to the spa, you're just going to walk through and then sit in the water. And I repeat, sit still in the water. If you move around, you're not going to get that energy buff. But you can go in there and it will replenish all of your health and your energy after like a few seconds of waiting. So that's what you can do for now if you don't have food or you don't have money. Just... Sorry, my cat started looking really creepy for a minute and I had to make sure she was okay. Sorry, back to our regularly scheduled program. Essentially, you get free energy replenishment at the spa, and you can essentially eat whatever you find as long as it says that it will give you energy. And you can still also find food and edible items in the trash cans. But again, make sure no one's watching because then their opinion of you is going to tank. And how you can check your relationship status is you're going to see everybody here. And you're going to see the hearts. And then you're only allowed to give them 2 gifts either every week or every month. I don't remember. And then it helps your relationship status if you talk to them at least once every single day. And then you can give them a gift. It could literally be anything, honestly. But I will put a link in the description for a guide because there are certain items that certain characters will like more than others. And if you're trying to romance somebody, that's going to come in handy. That's it for our short-term tasks, and before we move on to long-term tasks, we're just going to talk about a few little extra tips that might be helpful like at the beginning of the game. So color code your chests so that you have that extra inventory, but also you're not going to be confused about what you have where. You can't move a full chest that has items in it, but you can hit it with a pickaxe to move it 1 space over. So either you empty it or you just have to push it all the way to wherever you're trying to move it. Also, you can change your clothes and you can add accessories that give you certain powers. Like in my other playthrough, I have 2 rings and one of them, it just emits light so I don't have to put up torches everywhere for me to see stuff. So that's pretty helpful, and you'll kind of find those at random. So that's it for the short-term tasks. So go have fun and just, at the very least, just enjoy it. Explore, do whatever you want to do. If you don't want to farm, you don't have to. As long as you're figuring out a way for you to make money so that you can continue enjoying the game. So you can just continue mining, or you can go fishing all the time, or just have a farm with just the animals and no crops. It's totally up to you. Okay, now for the long-term tasks. These aren't super complicated, but it just helps to know about them in advance so you can prepare yourself so you don't lose any items, time, or lose any chances of special items. Now to start off, we're going to talk about seasonal events. So these can be birthdays or festivals or markets even. Now again, you can see them on the calendar, either at Pierre's, or if you buy one for yourself, you can see it there. Now the birthdays are only important if you're trying to improve a relationship with a certain character. And that's essentially as far as those go. Now for festivals, events, and the like, you want to empty your inventory as much as you can, regardless of if you had the upgrade or if you only have a few inventory slots. Make sure to empty what you can so that you have space for special items. Next, they will be different each season, so you might have to prepare for certain events. Like one event, you have to bring some of your crops to show off, and you might win a prize for the best setup. So do what you want with that information. Some might need special items, or you might want to look up tutorials to win certain events or earn extra items that are only available during that event. So one event, there is an egg hunt. Look up a tutorial for that. It's really difficult if you don't know what you're doing, and you're gonna get your butt handed to you. So if you get embarrassed easily, look up a tutorial for that one if you want to win a prize. And some events actually last more than one day. So sometimes they will be occurring for a whole weekend or like 3 days at a certain area. So just remember that some of them will take multiple days. So you won't have just a singular chance to enjoy this event. And you cannot leave the event in most cases and then come back. And it will warn you if you're about to leave an event that you can't return to, but just be prepared. Another thing for the community center, I already showed the bundles and the short-term tasks, but if you don't want to keep going back and forth and checking what you need, it's honestly just safer to save one of everything you get. That way, if it's needed for a special event or if it's needed for the community bundle and the community center, you already have it on hand. And I personally like to check every so often what I have and what's needed at the community center, and I keep a whole chest just for those items. But yeah, you're going to have items for crops, foraging, fishing, mining, literally everything you can think of. If you ever dig up trash or you're fishing and you get trash, I highly recommend saving that instead of like selling it or throwing it away, because later you're able to craft a compost bin or a compost machine, and if you put trash in it, it will give you ore. So that'll be a huge investment later down the line. And then another thing I highly recommend saving up for when you get the chance is crab traps. So essentially they're these pots that you leave in the water, doesn't matter where, as long as there's water, and you put fish bait in it. You can catch other creatures, fish, or special items. It really depends on the day. And you just have to check on them like once a day. So I've mentioned how certain things will benefit relationships with other characters and how you have to talk to them or give them gifts on their birthdays. So this really comes to play in general. One, if you befriend essentially everyone and keep up a good relationship status with them platonically, they can give you recipes, or they'll give you gifts, or you'll get little quests from them that they will pay you for or give you some kind of prize for. So it's just a nice little thing to keep in mind. And if you're trying to marry somebody, that's a whole different issue. And I'll put a link in the description below for that as well on what you can get for who, because everybody has their own specific tastes. So for marriage, that's got its whole system down to it, where if you reach a certain level of hearts with this character, you're going to get different cutscenes, and a different relationship status. And if you date Harvey, he's not going to give you any discounts. Just because you're dating a doctor, you're not going to benefit from it. I'm sorry. I had to learn that the hard way, and I'm still very disappointed. But anyway, other things you will need if you're going to upgrade from just a romantic relationship to marriage is you're going to upgrade your house, because you're going to need a kitchen, you're going to need a bedroom if you're going to have somebody living with you. And you're also going to need to buy a bouquet, which is essentially the proposal, and a mermaid pendant, which you can only get on rainy days at the beach, from an old mariner who appears on rainy days. And when you get married, they will move in with you and they can help you with the farm. And you also have the option of having kids, which I don't know what the benefit of that is, but if you think that'll be fun, go for it. I think you can have 2. I don't know if there's a maximum number, but that's an option. And I'll link more details on how you can get married to characters down below. You can also get a divorce by giving a wilted bouquet. And from my understanding, you can date multiple characters at once, but there will be a cutscene where you get called out for it, and it is very embarrassing. So do what you will with that, and it can happen with the bachelors or the bachelorettes. So do what you will with that information. And items you definitely want to hoard. You technically can sell everything you grow and find, but I definitely recommend saving a little bit of everything you get, grow, or find, because it'll probably come in handy later down the road for quests or just for bundles. And if you're really tight on money, it's like having a little savings account for later. So that's about the long and the short of it. I really hope this was helpful for any of you newcomers to Stardew Valley, and for that one friend that I sold this to essentially, and I guess gave them false advertisement. I'm sorry. It is what it is, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah. Back to you, Sue. Thank you, Sue. Well, we hope you were able to enjoy today's video and that you were able to learn a few things to get started on your playthrough of Stardew Valley. And especially that one friend that I may have misled about the game. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, and please do not just sleep half the day away and lose precious time, and things will be fine. So, see you next time! This is what I was staring at the whole time I was recording.